Right, I think we are live. So good afternoon and welcome to Mellow Financial Mortgage Q&A Live. Do these quite regularly. It streams live on YouTube and TikTok. We get most questions from TikTok, but what we do is just answer questions from people that pop into the live, anything they want to get a better understanding of. That's just moved. Sorry about that. Anything they want to get a better understanding of, any issues. We can't really give sort of specific advice, such as should you go for a 2 or 5 year fixed, because we don't know what your situation is. We don't know, or I don't know, what the full details of your case may be. Um, we can only give advice around specifics, like, for example, should you do a 2 or 5 year fixed? That's quite a common question, um, because we need to know exactly what your situation is, attitude to risk, um, plans for the future, all that kind of stuff. So until we know that, we're just not in a place to be able to give that advice. So we can't do that. Also, asking what are the rates going to be this time next year? Nobody knows. It's an impossible question to answer. So don't bother with that. Likewise, how much can you borrow on X amount? Again, not really possible to answer because I don't know the full situation. Um, but apart from that, we can have discussion around things that are going on, what lenders are doing. Can you get a mortgage based on certain scenarios or certain cases? Yeah, so that's exactly the kind of stuff we can do. So do feel free to ask a question, and I will do my best to answer it for you. And don't forget to like, because likes are always helpful and very much appreciated. So yeah, please do feel free to ask your questions, because that's exactly what I'm here for. Been doing some work this morning when my little lady was in her tennis lessons. So yeah, we shall do our best to answer you. Yeah, it's been a busy week. Lots of stuff going on behind the scenes. Lots of stuff going on in the mortgage market. Lots of inquiries actually, which is good because this time of year generally goes quiet. So it's good to have the inquiries in. No way am I complaining. So yeah, it's a busy time. We got a new advisor starting tomorrow, so the availability for client calls is awesome. So if you do want to get in touch, then do feel free. We are here to help you around your mortgage plans, but we also do wills as well, will writing, because that's an important fact that people tend to overlook. There's a stat such as 74% of people don't have a will. Don't be one of them, because if you die, crikey, that could cause all kinds of complications, such as if you die and you've got children and you haven't got a will, your children will get taken into care, and then the courts will decide who's going to look after them. If you get a will done, then you can specify a guardian who's then going to look after them, and your children won't go into care. So it's when I found that out, I was like, crikey, that's insane. Hi, I have £200 default from 2021. Will this affect me? Yes, it will, because it'll still be a default showing on your credit file. It will help you if it's satisfied. If it's unsatisfied, it's not going to be great. But if it's satisfied, then that will help you. The longer time goes on as well, the easier it's going to be. But yeah, certainly while that's there, it will be affecting you. So unfortunately, yes. You need to speak to a broker who will be able to match you up, match your credit file up, your credit history, with a lender that will accept a default from 2021. But yeah, it will affect you. Can you tell us about Halal Mortgage? Nope. Saw the video about you on here and the rumours as well. Not impressed. Oh, okay. What are those? What's that video about me then? And the rumours? Do tell. I'm not aware of this video and these rumours. Probably because it's true. There's nothing there. So do enlighten us. Do enlighten us. I suspect you won't though. It's 65% loan to value remortgage of 4.5, decent 3 years. It's probably there or thereabouts. Obviously, I don't know your full situation. but certainly round at 65%, 60% or lower, you will get the better rates. So yeah, I mean that's probably all right. Um, we have a mortgage offer. All searches have come back. Inquiries satisfied. What else left before the keys? Don't know. That's about it. The solicitor will have to request for the funds to be drawn down from the lender. So they'll do that. The lender's probably then going to do some checks, like credit checks and all that kind of stuff before completion. So yeah, it sounds like you're pretty much there. Got an agreement in principle already with the broker with it. Uh, okay, so why did you ask me if that's going to affect your mortgage? Strange, you already know the answer. Bought my first house but want to buy another residential. Okay, yeah, you can do that. Are we talking by having two residentials at the same time, or are you going to sell that first house you bought and then move into the next one? Um, but yeah, nothing stopping you doing that. You are welcome. Feel free to hit the likes because that's always much appreciated. Because the more likes, the more people we get in front of, and the more questions that come in, they might ask a question you not thought about. Currently deciding between 2 and 5 year remortgage term. Are there any major benefits to either? It depends on your situation. I can't give advice on that because I don't know your full circumstances. Use a broker and they will ask you a number of questions, and you go from there. What is this video about me? I'm intrigued to know. People keep mentioning this video about me. What is it? Is it someone who? How long does it take to get after valuation to get the mortgage approved? Depends on the lender and the process. Some lenders do the valuation right at the start. Some do it at the end. If it's towards the end, then it might be the last step before they then give you the offer. So you could be talking like a couple of days, within a week if it's at the end. Why do some lenders use automatic valuations for remortgages? Mine messed up. Oh, it's just the way their process is. I mean, if it's a straightforward case, they may just do a straightforward property, a standard residential street. Then a desk-based valuation might be fine, rather than having the cost of sending someone out to actually look at it. Why would people get an AIP and then further down the line not get approved? Because an AIP isn't full underwriting. It's a very light check. Um, you never answer for phone calls. Oh, well, we do. It's just I'm not going to answer a phone call if I'm speaking to a client. Do people not understand that I'm busy? Is that what? If you need to be calling the right number. We do answer phone calls, but certainly not when the office is closed. How can you buy without a deposit? There's a couple of scenarios where you can. One is if you've got a track record of renting for 12 months at least, and you can prove that. There's one lender that will do that. If you're doing something like a right to buy, you can use the discount from the council as your deposit. Or if you're doing concessionary purchase, which is where you're buying a property off a family or a landlord for less than the market value, you can use the difference in price as your discount, as your deposit. If you are exchanging around Christmas, will completion be in January? Depends. Sometimes exchange and completion happens on the same day. Just depends what the solicitors are up to. They're best to answer that one. Contact your solicitor. As a 44-year-old sole applicant, roughly how many years maximum would you get a mortgage for? So a lot of lenders will go up to the age of 68 in terms of before retiring. So they'll take your employed income up to that. But there are lenders that will go up to the age of 70, some up to the age of 75, still in employment. So yeah. Luke, good afternoon. How's it going? I'm all right, thank you. Although people are mentioning a video about me, which I've not seen. Have you seen it, Luke? Someone's saying there's a video about me, and I think someone's tarnishing my name. And if they are, that could have serious repercussions because it could be slander, and I will take it up with someone. Have a look. See if you have a look. Have a look, Luke. See if you can find something. Which lenders tend to be the speediest? Wow, you see, that depends on your application. I've known Halifax to do application to offer in 24 hours, so that is speedy. It also depends on their workload. Right now, we've got lots of applications going in because people are trying to beat the threshold changes on the stamp duty, so they are busy. But I mean, average is about two weeks. Do you have any advice for self-employed first-time buyers? So it's not going to be any different to someone who's employed. It's just that how we come to prove your income. So if you're self-employed, you want to make sure you've got at least 1 year's accounts and tax returns sorted out and filed with the taxman. 2 or more, the better, because that's what we use to prove your income. Apart from that, you should be all right. How long do mortgage offers typically last? 6 months normally. It will be written on your offer how long it's lasts for. Is it possible to get a mortgage with CCJ from 2 years ago? Yeah, I'd have thought so. Yep. It will help you greatly if that CCJ is satisfied. But yeah, it will do. I have a large house with no mortgage. Need a loan or remortgage. I'm currently not working. Any advice? You're going to need income to get a mortgage. So you may then be looking at the loan route. But again, I mean, I don't do loans, typical sort of standard loans. So I suspect they may want some form of income, unfortunately. Yeah, it's bothered me, Luke. I'm not sure. Not sure. Or unless it was people just trying to wind me up, which they've done, to be honest, quite successfully. Can I get a second residential property with 10% deposit, as I would need to pay stamp duty? Are we talking when you say second residential property? Are we talking um, you're going to have two residential properties at the same time, or are you going to be moving from one to another? 10% deposit, absolutely fine if you're moving from one to the other. That should be fine. It could have been a troll, Luke. But yeah. Hello. Mortgage offer in. How long to hear back? How do you mean mortgage offer in? Don't understand your question there. To your residential property moving from to another. Oh, okay. So it's an onward purchase. You're selling and moving. Second home mover. I think that's what we'll call it. Home mover. Um, so yeah, that's fine. Darren, thank you. Thanks for putting my mind at ease because I that would really bother me. I mean, because when you're a small business, you do all you can to obviously build up a good reputation, and you want to protect that at all costs because we're a small business. We try our best. Sometimes things happen. Not that there have been any, but I feel sorry for these small businesses where somebody gets getting on board. No, not selling my first property, just moving home. Ah, okay. So you're going to have to. You're going to have to be able to afford two mortgages in that instance. The affordability is going to be tight, I reckon. Is it if I overpay my mortgage by the full 10% each year in a 5-year contract? What will that do for me? Oh, it will do wonders for you. You will end up paying less interest. When you come to remortgage, the balance that you're actually going to have to remortgage will be much less. So yeah, wow, if you can do 10%, good stuff. Is it harder for police officers to get a mortgage? No, not at all. Average cost of changing residential mortgage to a buy-to-let mortgage currently on a 2-year deal. If you are within a deal, you're going to have to pay the early repayment charge to come out of it because you need to change that. You need to remortgage onto a buy-to-let. You need to have the 25% equity in the property. You'll be able to make up with a bigger deposit. Then you're going to have costs such as solicitor costs, because there's going to be a different interested party securing a charge against your property. So there's quite a few checks. How many months of bank statements are required? 3 months. Can I keep my current monthly mortgage amount when I remortgage? I don't understand what you're asking. Wow, these are flying through. Sorry, let me just try and pause this. What's the process of buying a buy-to-let as a company? So you have to have the company set up, and then you can apply for the mortgage. You need to have the correct SIC codes under the company registration, so you're able to buy and sell and rent property. But from that instance, you put in the application as a limited company. You, as the director, will need to go on the application as well, plus any other directors, because you will be the kind of personal guarantee for the company. Because the company's probably going to have no accounts or anything to go on. So you will need to be on the application. And then it's just pretty much like any other application, goes through the same process. Do I pay stamp duty if I change buy to let to a residential? No, it's remortgaging. No, if you own the property to start with, it's just remortgaging. No, if you're moving it from a personal name to a limited company, you are effectively selling in your personal name to the limited company. There could be stamp duty implications there. If I have a main residence and buy to let property but sell the main residence, will I be I'm not a tax advisor. I can't answer that. Can you offer under house price on a new build properties? Like, you can try it, Fluffy. Yeah, I mean, you can chance your arm. It depends. When, say, a developer has built lots of properties and they're already built and they can't sell them, they want to sell them quickly as possible. So they may well take an offer. All they can do, the worst they can do, is say no, and you've lost nothing. So chance your arm. Go for it. Give it a go. My son has a Vanguard account and I want to use it for my deposit. All right. Does he know that you want to do that? He's going to have to gift you the money. In fact, Fluffy, we got money off our new build. Yeah, we got money off. We got loads of free stuff thrown in. If you don't ask, you don't get. And those that don't ask don't want anyway. House mover here. What's the minimum deposit from equity? Hoping to pay off debt as well. I'd say 10% if you're looking to move. Credit score is a big requirement. No, credit score is irrelevant. It's your whole credit history for the last 6 years. That's the important thing. Your mortgage is paid once you sign the agreement and then they sell it off for more. We've got another tin hat wearing conspiracist. What's a CCJ? County court judgment. If you don't pay a bill, the person you owe that money to can get a county court judgment against you to effectively get you to pay it back. Do only first-time buyers get stamp duty relief? No. It's the thresholds are different. So currently, if you're a first-time buyer, you won't pay any stamp duty on a purchase up to 425,000. If you're a home mover, you won't pay stamp duty up to 250,000. But from April next year, those thresholds are reducing. So it's coming down to 300,000 for a first-time buyer and 125 for home movers. Looking to buy my first house on my own, have 30k deposit, 2k on credit card. I need help? Then book in a call. Feel free to get in touch. We can certainly help you with that. If you do want to book a call, if you go to the TikTok bio, it says book a call and more. Top option is you can book in a call and we will speak to you then. 78k salary, 48 deposit. Reckon we get a 380 house. I don't know any of your circumstances or your situation, but yes, I reckon you could. Yeah, but again, it needs to be properly assessed. That's just sort of like back of fact packet maths, using some basic multiples. Get it properly assessed. Speak to a broker and get it properly assessed. But I think you could. What's the requirement for getting 6 times multiple on income? Well, generally, you have to be to get it as a first-time buyer is difficult. There's one lender that does it, but to get it is tricky. Otherwise, you've got to be considered as what we call a professional, so chartered accountant, pilot, doctor, that kind of stuff. Yeah, D, you should be able to do it then. But it would need proper assessment, though. I just to put a caveat on it. How much do I need to show I can save each month when showing bank statements? You don't need to show you can save anything. It's all done on your affordability. So how much your income is, what your outgoings are, and then they do a stress test. So you don't have to prove savings to get a mortgage. Gut feeling on whether to go on tracker rather than the fix if there's not much in it. I don't know. It depends on your situation. Your broker should be advising you and asking you questions to come up with the best solution for you and advising you. Do lenders offer mortgage on property with asbestos? Yes, can do. Luke, if you're still here, are you still here? Apparently I'm a liar. We've got a troll. We got a troll, everyone. We got a troll. Would you say a mortgage of 3.89 is a good rate? Yeah, you probably won't be able to get that anymore. That's probably gone. So if you've been offered that, snap it. Well, I wouldn't say snap it up, but think carefully about it. And, certainly worth good, because 3% ones have gone. What do you think of Accord mortgages? I've seen some pretty bad reviews. So remember, you're not going to really see reviews to the positive. People won't go online and say, wow, my mortgage lender is amazing. So just bear that in mind. But they're fine. Every lender in the UK is regulated by their Financial Conduct Authority. So they have to do everything by the book. You don't get dodgy lenders. So they'll be fine, honestly. Go through a mortgage broker and they will match you up. When you buy a buy-to-let mortgage and I live in a property, what are the consequences? It's mortgage fraud. They can well call the mortgage in or repossess the property. And you're very foolish for asking that question on a very public forum where I have lenders that follow it and watch it. Think about things, people. Think about things. There's one thing I can't stand. It's fraud. People trying to avoid paying tax, all that kind of stuff. And we look out for it, and we will report it if we find. We have to report it if we find it or suspect it. So yeah. What are they looking for when showing bank statements? I'm normally left about £600 a month. Okay, fine. We're not looking at how much you've got left. We're just looking for any committed expenditure that's not being disclosed, any large transactions that need explaining, that kind of stuff. Matching up that the pay on your pay slips gets paid into that account, all that kind of thing. Looking for money laundering activities, illegal activities. We are essentially the first line of defence for lenders. So we check this stuff out, and we have turned away cases and reported them. Anything to know about share of freehold properties about to put an offer on one? You probably have to be involved in some sort of management company. Look into it. How does car finance affect mortgage offers affordability? Car finance is what we call a committed expenditure. So it will affect how much you can borrow, because each month you are contractually bound to pay that payment to the car finance company. And that means that money can't be spent on a mortgage repayment. So therefore they reduce the amount you can borrow to tie in with that. Would 2.5k on credit card affect eligibility for a mortgage? Not necessarily, but like I said before, it would be considered a committed expenditure. So from that instance, it might affect how much you can borrow. Do you enjoy your job? Yes. Every day is different. Every case is different. Lots of problem solving, lots of making people happy. So yeah, and it makes your brain work. You get up on a Monday morning and straight away you're thinking about things. So yeah, I do enjoy it. Everyone keeps telling me that I should pay 20% deposit for a mortgage at least. Is that the case? No. Who are these people that keep telling you? The more deposit you put in, the better. But you can get a property with a 5% deposit. The more deposit you put in, the better, because you're not having to borrow so much, and you might get a better rate. But you can do it with a 5% deposit. Don't listen to people in the pub, because their opinion is based on their situation and their experiences only. Speak to a professional and get their guidance and their advice, because they've got your best interests at heart. You're going to drop me an email. Nice one. I shall look forward to that. Would being on parental leave for 8 months affect affordability? Potentially. It just depends. Are we talking, is that paternity leave? Robert, sorry. Is that paternity leave? Just depends, when you're going back and get a letter from your they are pub folk. Cara, there you go. Okay, Cara, don't listen to pub folk. Yeah, so Robert, it just depends what terms you're going back to work on, what childcare costs are going to be, that kind of stuff. Hello, Mo. How's it going? Overpay by adding to your monthly payment, or go in and pay the extra cash off separate month. Whatever you want to do, it's going to have the same effect generally. So yeah, it's all good. Just make sure you sit within the limits of overpayments that your lender allows. Offset mortgages, what amounts of savings do you need for it to compete with the offset mortgages? Are rare. There's not many of them anymore. They've largely disappeared. Offset mortgages are a thing of the past, pretty much. Would you recommend waiting till next year for rates to drop for a mortgage? Who says they're going to drop? You could be waiting for something that's not going to happen. And all that time you're waiting, you could be missing out on price rises, which means if you haven't bought, you're going to have to pay more, which means you'll need a bigger deposit, which means you'll have to borrow more. Or you could buy now and just accept that rates are what they are. Rates go up and down. For the whole period that you're going to own a property for with a mortgage, rates will go up and down. So just paid my mortgage off before Christmas. Wow. Being mortgage free. I suspect you're making many people jealous, Paddy. How long does it take for a lender to assess affordability and income? It depends on the lender, depends on the workload. To be honest, the broker does that anyway. We will assess that before it gets to the lender. So it's quite quick. What training is required to become a mortgage broker? How long does it take? Well, you've got to do your qualifications, and it depends how you do that. Whether you do self-studying or you get taught it, it takes as long as it takes. How come the rate is being reported in recent weeks that it's coming down, then it goes up? Because rates change. Rates do not remain static. Market conditions affect the rates and what's happening with them. I'm mortgage free in 25. Live with mummy and daddy. Yes. Good shout. Good luck, babe. Like it. Nice one, Geo Harris. We shall pick that up. Bought Bitcoin back in 2010. Of course you did, Jack. Of course you did. Yeah. While we're on Bitcoin, lenders hate it, by the way, so don't try and use Bitcoin for your deposit. Don't No, it was just a comment where someone was, he's 25 rent free, and someone's like, yeah. Well, mortgage free. It's fine. We're not laughing at the fact he lives with his mum and dad. It's the fact he was trying to big one up saying mortgage free. I thought it was just a funny reply. What are the best opportunities for property purchase with an income of 40k living in London? What? Any stipulations of the 5% mortgage? You do generally need to have a good credit history. So if you've got defaults or CCJs, you will struggle, because they do tend to be quite strict on their own internal credit scoring. So yeah, if you've got any issues on a credit file, you might struggle a bit. Can you get a mortgage on a CCJ? Yes, depending on the circumstances and the details of the excuse me. Yes, depending on the specifics of the CCJ. How long ago it was, is it satisfied, how much it was for, what it was for, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, generally you can. How does porting your mortgage work? Essentially, in simple terms, it's taking your existing mortgage on this house, picking it up and putting it on the new house. It does involve applications and assessments, so it's not 100% given that it will be acceptable. So you have to make sure that it has to be assessed that you can still afford it, all that kind of stuff. How hard is it to move lender? It's not difficult. Go through a broker and they'll do it all for you. Can you go beyond 70 for a mortgage? A lot of lenders in the past frowned upon it. You can. There's some lenders that will go up to the age of 75 with employed income. Or if you've got a viable income into retirement, such as a nice pension, maybe some buy-to-let income, then yeah, that can be considered as income you could potentially go forward. If you can answer, can you share a story where you helped a client specifically from TikTok Live? Uh, well, we get a lot of inquiries from TikTok, so most of the clients we help are from TikTok, particularly first-time buyers. We guide them through the process and tell them who does what and when. So I'd have to say loads, to be honest. When you get a mortgage offer, are you locked into that rate even if they drop during conveyancing? You are, unless you change it. So I mean, if we do an application for someone and the rates change, we will go in and change it for them to the lower rate. Obviously, if it goes up, we won't. They will be protected. But if it goes down, yeah, we dive in and we sort that out for them. Thank you for the follows, much appreciated. Is a mortgage in principle accurate? Depends who's done it, because it's only going to be as accurate as the information you input. Are you putting your income in correctly? Are you declaring everything you should be declaring? If a broker's done it, then it's going to be quite accurate. But it doesn't mean much, to be honest, an application principle, because it's very light checks. It's a soft search on any credit file, a bit of identity checks, and that's about it. When it goes through to full underwriting application, that's where more in-depth checks are done. Do you know how one could get a run down house for? But I've got 80k. No, I'm not an estate agent. Are there any lenders that will remortgage when you have a CCJ? Yes. Do gifted deposits affect my chances? Absolutely not. No. As long as it's declared as a gift, you've got a letter confirming it's a gift, and you can prove where the gift has come from. No, a lot of first-time buyers have gifted deposits. I need to get 80k out of my mortgage. 191 left on my mortgage. House value after 4 chances. It depends if you can afford it or not. It will all be based on your income, whether you can afford it. What to do if you recently got a mortgage but need to move to another country? Well, you either sell the property and pay it off, or you ask your lender for consent to let and rent it out, or you convert it to a buy-to-let mortgage and rent it out. Can you get buy-to-let property even though you don't have regular income? Potentially. Need to look into that into more detail. I've learned more in this live about mortgages than the past 10 years. You are welcome. That's why we do it. And when we work with clients, it's exactly what we do. We break things down into simple terms. We guide you through the process. We tell you what these terms mean and use simple English. Not simple English, but no jargon. It's what we do. And we guide you through it and help you. So that's exactly what we're here for. Bad credit, buy to let available. Yes. Does changing bank accounts during the mortgage application stage affect anything? Yeah, it could well do. The golden rule is don't do anything. If you're in a mortgage application, don't do anything that's going to impact it, such as changing jobs, getting things on credit, on finance, maxing a credit card. Just don't do it. Mortgage company went bust, so never heard from them. Can I get a mortgage without paying them? No. What's the youngest person you've broke a mortgage for? 20, I think. 20. God. Yeah. Don't think we've done any younger. Don't know if any other guys have. Can I rent out 2 of my 3 bedrooms as a first time buyer, not to buy to let? I'm straight. No, you can't. That'll be you'll be a living in landlord on a buy to let. Read the first comment, please. What? I was 22 and you got one. There you go. You see. Do lenders hate Klarna? No, wouldn't say so. It gives a consideration. See, if you've got a Klarna account open when the mortgage is going to complete, then it might affect your affordability. Just be sensible with it. Just be, prudent and sensible as you would with any financial credit situation. But no, I wouldn't say they hate it. Oh, that was a nice cup of tea. Yeah, it's a good question because Klarna is becoming more and more relevant today for shopping. I've read a couple of articles whereby lenders have claimed that they're starting to look at it in more detail because it could, I say could, suggest a bit of financial irresponsibility. But as long as you keep them in good order you don't have too many of them, then you should be fine. If you've got, say, 15 spread over 3, that's a lot of credit and a lot of outgoings each month. So just use it wisely. Maybe take one, that's all right. Get it paid, do it like that. But yeah, Klarna's not the beast anymore. Or anymore, I say at the moment. It does show on your credit file though. In 2011, I walked away from a house. Is that debt? Don't deal with people like that. Right, I think it's gone quiet. If you could tap the likes, that'd be really appreciated, because then we get in front of more people and they might ask more questions to keep my brain working. I've heard it might be a good idea to pay extra on top of your mortgage. Thoughts monthly? Yes. So that would be known as an overpayment. It can be beneficial. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I can only give you advice from a mortgage perspective. So if you've got money available, you might want to speak to an IFA about what's the best to do with it. But from a mortgage perspective, an overpayment is good, particularly more regular rather than one lump sum, because an overpayment will most likely come off the capital of the loan, the principal of the loan, not interest. So you will be reducing the amount of capital you owe. And also, mortgage interest is largely calculated on a daily basis. So if you made an overpayment today, the balance on which interest is going to be charged tomorrow is going to be less. So therefore you will incur less interest and pay less interest. It can save you a lot on interest, and it can reduce the term of your mortgage by quite a lot. There is, if you Google a money saving expert mortgage overpayment calculator, you can put in there your normal monthly mortgage payment and then plus an additional £100, and it shows you the graphs. It shows you the curves of the difference that makes. It's quite surprising. Go and have a look at it. I suspect once you've done that, you'll sign up straight away and think, yeah, I'm doing that. So yeah, overpayments are good. Is using planned overdraft an influence in the mortgage world? It can be. It just depends whether, are we talking dipping in and out of it, or are we living in it? Are we right at the limit? Are direct debits bouncing or anything like that? So it just depends on how much you're using it. Hi, fixed year rate expires in September 2025. Can we do advance of 15 over the... It depends on your affordability. Got a dip for a specific amount, and at initial request for mortgage they offered me only 65% loan to value. So do it through a broker. What about buy to let mortgage to house your parents? If they're going to pay you rent, yeah, it will all be worked out in the affordability to rent. Why? Probably because you went to the wrong lender. 9 times out of 10, when people do it themselves, they don't get the outcome they want because they go to the wrong lender for their circumstances. Last 6 months of fixed term, are there still ERCs to pay? Yeah, there will be. There will be up to the end of your fixed term. However, you can look to secure a new rate now to take effect from when your existing deal ends. Can you put an offer in without a dip? Potentially. Depends what the estate agent, what their process is. It's not advised to, because you could be offering an amount that you can't get lending for. So therefore, you're just wasting a lot of people's time. It's always best to get it all scoped out, make sure you can afford it, get the decision in principle, and then make the offer, because you know how much you can afford. Some estate agents will want to see a decision in principle certificate, so you can put the offer in as well as your proof of deposit, so that they know you're good for the money. They know you can buy that property. Just depends. Surveyor had entered wrong address on the property valuation report. How long does it take to change? It shouldn't be that long. Should be quite, ring them up. It should be quite instant. Bank transferring mortgage funds to solicitors on Monday, ready to complete Tuesday. When can I use my credit cards again? Once your mortgage is completed. Don't do anything beforehand. On completion, that's when you can start doing it. But nice one for not doing it, or for holding off. Very good, top work. Yeah. Don't do anything till completion, because the lender will do other checks. So if you've bought on finance, if you've maxed out a credit card, they'll see it, and therefore the application will be different to what was input at the beginning, and they could turn around and offer you less because they deem you can afford less, or they're in their rights to rescind the offer. Is ClearScore a good avenue for a broker independent like you? No, we don't accept ClearScore. We only accept Check My File. Can I get a mortgage on a property which application has been processed? Can I get a mortgage on a property which applicant? I don't understand the question. Oh, sorry. Is ClearScore a good avenue for broker independent? I think I'm not sure I'm understanding your question. Are you trying to find a broker through ClearScore, or are you trying to use ClearScore as your credit report? If you're trying to use ClearScore as your credit report, um, we Check My File. If you're trying to find a broker through it, I wouldn't, because they will be affiliated with ClearScore, and therefore they will be some sort of deal going on behind the backgrounds. Just find an independent one if you can. Hello, we're independent mortgage brokers. Can't hear anything. Turn your volume up. Is Nationwide Helping Hand worth doing? The clients that we've done putting on, the clients that we've put that way certainly think so. Can I get a mortgage on a property which has land registry application is being processed? Potentially. You can get land registry things expedited if the solicitor rings them up. If a lender values a property 10 to 15k below the offer made, what's the best way to go about this? Well, either you've got three options. You go back and renegotiate the asking price, so that you can get the lender you need, or you pay more deposit to bridge the gap between the lending amount and how much you need to pay, or you walk away. They're your three options, essentially. Is estate agent valuation on average in line with bank valuations? Absolutely not. Estate agents are not qualified valuers. Don't believe anything an estate agent ever says. My ex said he used to get these super critical thoughts. Right, whatever. Can you get a day one mortgage for an inherited mortgage? Are there any rates the same? There's no such thing as an inherited mortgage. Right then. Don't forget to tap the screen, people, if you're on TikTok, and yeah, it gets the people in. Thank you for the follow. Can mortgages overlap? X doing no, not really. No, because you can only have one charge against the property. Otherwise, it becomes a second charge, and that needs a second charge mortgage, which is really expensive without going into too much technical jargon. X going slow to buy me out the current mortgage. I need a new mortgage to move. No, you need to clear off the first one first. For expat, is it possible to buy a shared ownership house funding by overseas bank in the UK? Let me get my head around that. Expat buying a shared ownership funded by overseas bank in the UK. What? My gut feel will be no. What's the minimum amount of money I need to buy my second home, selling my current? So you're a home mover. You need a 10% deposit. Would you, in current climate, recommend going for a 2 or 5 year fixed rate mortgage? Bethany, it depends on a lot more than the current climate. It requires a lot of assessment of your personal situation, your plans, your needs, your attitude to risk. Your broker should be advising you on that. Will the deposit come from my current property? Yeah, it can do. So anything. So when you sell your property, say you sell it for that much, and your mortgage needs to be repaid by that much. This gap is your money for you to do what you want with. You can use it as a deposit to pay the fees, pay stamp duty, all that kind of stuff. It's your money to do what you wish. If you're moving and you probably will never see the money, it will all just be moved around behind the scenes. When renew fixed term, do you recommend to rather get a bank valuation estate? Don't. When you do a new mortgage, the lender values it anyway. Estate agent valuations are absolute horseshit. They are just trying to wow you with a figure so that you'll list it with them and sell it. Then 6 weeks later, you say, oh, it's not selling, we've got to reduce the price. That's estate agents for you. Are bridge loans widely available with many lenders? Is the interest higher than that of a mortgage? So bridging loans, yes, they are designed for a specific purpose. They are widely available based on your circumstances. They can be expensive. The longer you have them, the more expensive they are. They're designed to bridge a short-term gap. But yeah, they are available. Can I use LISA for any type of property or just a new build? Yeah, any type of property. Absolutely any type of property you wish to use it on. When your mortgage balance is low, circa 30k, do a lot of lenders not want to lend on you anymore? There are lenders that do. There are some lenders that have a minimum loan amount, but there's loads that don't. So yeah, don't worry about that. Ooh, there we go. Up Norwich, yeah, what's going on? Have they scored? Have they scored? What's the score, Luke? What's the score? Have they scored? Advisor got me an AIP on more than 5%. Can I try High Street Bank itself? If it declined, continue advisor. Don't understand what you're asking. 2-1? 2-1? They've only been playing 40 minutes. Oh, nearly the first half. And Norwich winning. Is it 2-1? Winning. 2-1. Come on. I bet Borja Sainz has scored. Because he tends to. Nice. How do you know what mortgage broker to go with as a first-time buyer? It's the one you like, you trust, you think is approachable, explains things well. Difficult to say. One thing you do want to make sure of, though, is that the broker has access to the whole of the market. They don't operate off a restricted panel. Cernach ×2. God, he hasn't scored at all. People have been questioning him, and now he's banging them in. Nice. Nice. How much mortgage can you get on 30k salary? I don't know, because I don't know anything of your circumstances. Kimberly, if you'd like to book in a call, we can talk you through the whole process of the first-time buyer process. Or if you go to our website, which is listed, let me check, just here, you can download our free first-time buyers guide. From our website. I do apologise about the website. It's not the best. It is being redone. So hopefully in a couple of weeks we will have our new all singing, all dancing website live. It's currently being built right now. Thank you for those follows. If I pay off my credit cards, will it help? Yep, absolutely. Is it better to pay an extra £100 for mortgage or better to invest in stocks? I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't answer that. Thank you for the follows. I suppose it's time for me to give you a shout out about what you can find in the TikTok link. So if you, where are we? So if you go to the TikTok link up there, it says book a call and more. If you click on that link, the link tree, top option is to book in a call. Second option is to book in a call to write your will, which we can do for you. You can also get a free Check My File report, which is awesome. Or you can download the First Time Buyers Guide down there as well. So go and have a look. It's certainly worth checking it out. Can one get a mortgage with a lender where a family member works? Is there a risk of biased behaviour? No, you should be all right. You should be all right. We will probably have to flag it, but it won't cause any issues. Could two full-time 20-year-olds earning a combined 50k, no credit cards or debt, get a mortgage? I can't see why not. That'd be absolutely fine. Yep. Obviously, it comes down to other questions. Needs to be fully assessed. But yeah, I don't see why not. Let's move these questions up a bit. Up there. Right. So we're going to be clear. Does seller bother money paid by UK banks account? I really don't know what that says. To be clear, does seller bother money paid by UK-based banks or overseas? Really not sure what you're asking. Right, I might have to do one. How long have we been on for? Where's my timer? 49 minutes. I don't know. Should we stay on for a bit more? What do you reckon? House price scenario around 250, 300. Should we go shared ownership or full mortgage? Always best if you can buy without shared ownership. If you can buy normally, do it normally. But yeah, has lending criteria recently changed? There's so many different lenders with such varying lending criteria that it changes all the time. TSB are good. They're as good as any other lender. They are registered by the FCA. They are a UK entity, so they're fine. Absolutely fine. Yeah. I can hear a little person outside the door. I think I'm required. And the questions are drying up. So I think I will. Can you get a mortgage with 2-year book self-employed? Absolutely, yes. Yes, you can. 2 or more years is awesome. 1 year's books reduces your lender choice quite a lot, but 2 years books, perfect, spot on. You can do that. If affordability okay, will an advance penalise me renewal? It just means that you need to be able to make sure you can afford it. With an advance, you'll have 2 sub accounts, which means chances of being able to remortgage to a different lender are going to be very limited unless you come up with a creative strategy. Oh, nice one, Luke. Thank you. See you soon. What if my credit score does not meet the requirements? Credit score is irrelevant. It's your whole credit history. And we have lenders with a vast array of lending criteria. So chances are that we can find most things. Do they average out over 2 years? A first year wasn't great. Yeah, they will do. Or we can use, some lenders will do it off the latest year. We've got loads of different lenders with loads of different criteria. The high street ones will tend to average it out. But there are some that will do it off the latest year's accounts. Do lenders consider currency risk if salary is per years? Yes, they will do. Is it a good idea to max out my home buying budget? I wouldn't if you can help it. That's where a lot of people have found themselves in trouble recently because they've taken out maximum borrowing on low interest rates of about 1%, and now the rates have gone up. Then, they're stuck. For my tax overview, does it have to show paid to apply for a mortgage? Waiting. It'd be best if it does. If it doesn't, then they're going to ask questions. What's a good amount if I'm being offered 550? What do you mean, what's a good amount if you're being offered 550? Can I use my right to acquire 9k discount as my deposit? Yeah, potentially. Yep. Do letting agencies having heading any fee? I don't know. I'm a mortgage broker, not a letting agent. What should my house budget be if I'm being offered 550? It's up to you. I'm not a financial advisor, but if it was me, I wouldn't be maxing out my borrowing just in case. I'd want a bit of headroom. It's up to you what you do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a mortgage advisor, so I can tell you about mortgages. I can't tell you what to do. I'm on a salary 62. I need a mortgage of 340 to buy my ex-husband's house. I don't think you'll be able to do that. No, you'll struggle with that. Any mortgages out there under 4.5% interest rate? Yep. Cab, you use a predict year forecast. Really, I don't understand what that means. What's the best rate on the market? The best rate for you and your needs. It depends on what your situation is as to what the rate you'll get. Depends on so many different variables. Can UK lenders help with mortgage in Spain? Basically, UK bank instead of Spanish bank? No. The rate question, yeah, I know. Here we go, Luke. Yeah. What's the best rate? What are your thoughts on new build mortgage interest rate reducer? Be cautious because the interest is still paid. All it means is the lender, you'll pay the interest one way or the other. All it means is the lender is essentially paying a big product fee, forward funding some interest. They will then probably charge it to you in another way. Literally your job to answer those questions, mate. Firstly, I'm not your mate. Secondly, you can't say what is the best rate for someone because it largely depends on what their needs are. I have no clue about what their situation is, mate. Does the interest rate go lower the more deposit you have? Generally, yes. Yes, it does. No problem. Right. It must be half time now, Luke. I might do one, and might do a live tomorrow. I'm impressed. We'll contact you in March. Excellent. Thanks, Emil. Thanks for that. Yeah, do feel free to contact us. We will always hear. Are HSBC competitive at the moment? HSBC will largely be on the first page, one or two, but again, it depends what we're looking for. It depends on your needs and what your loan to value is, what sort of property it is, that kind of thing. So they're one of the big high street banks, so they're going to be up there amongst the others. And there's going to be lenders that you've never heard of that are also competitive. So it just depends on what the situation is and what lenders are coming up. Do some lenders ask you to do an interview before accepting your mortgage? No. Is Halifax a good lender? Oh, Jesus Christ. Any lender in the UK is regulated by the FCA, so they are all fine. Risks with buying a corporate house. What do you mean a corporate house? Is there actually a difference between a mortgage broker and a mortgage advisor? No, there's not. It's just terminology. It's terminology. I used to have it saying mortgage advisor, but people used to just think I would just give opinions and advice about mortgages. Whereas I think mortgage broker gives you a bit more of a clue as to the fact we do it all. I prefer the term mortgage advisor because there is the advice that goes into it. You're not able to advise without being qualified. And so that's how you become a mortgage advisor, mortgage broker. Exactly the same thing. Am I effed? My mortgage renews in June, so presumably on high rates. If it renews in June, you can start looking at it in the new year to lock in a rate early to then protect yourself if they go up any more. I have a fixed mortgage of 3.23 with 3 years left. Would you take mortgage with you? Where? If you're porting it, yeah, because that's a relatively decent rate. If you're talking about porting your mortgage, moving over to a new property, then yeah, that makes total sense to do it. Also, if you wanted to break out of that deal, you would have to pay early repayment charges. Right, I'm going now because I've got things to do. So thank you very much for joining me. If you haven't followed already, please do so because that is always really appreciated. If you want to book in a call, then drop us a line or give us a call. The details are up there on TikTok. They're down there on YouTube. So yeah, do get in touch. If you want to be super fancy, you can just click on the link in the TikTok bio, and there you can open up the thing that says book a call and more, where you can book in a call for a mortgage. You can book in a call for us to write your will. You can also get a free check my file report, and you can get a free first time buyers guide which we've written. So do go and check it out. Last call to follow now before I end the live. But anyway, I wish you an enjoyable Saturday evening. an enjoyable rest of your weekend, and I will hopefully speak to some of you soon